Government shall not borrow or guarantee or raise a loan on behalf of itself or any other public institution. An Act of Parliament made under Clause 2 of this article shall provide A, that the terms and conditions of the loan shall be laid before Parliament and shall not come into operation unless they've been approved by a resolution of Parliament. Right Honourable Speaker, the Minister has just stated that the terms are yet to be revised as per the advice of the Attorney General, and is in agreement with the majority report, which recommended and even questioned sovereignty. Now, we cannot approve this loan because the purpose, as you stated, is clear. When we were passing the revenue side, we approved a 2.5 expenditure of budget support, trillion. Therefore, what is required of this House largely is to approve terms. We cannot approve a process of renegotiation. Therefore, as it stands now, the hands of this Parliament are tied because we cannot approve terms that are still being renegotiated, which is self-effective before we even go very far. So it follows we need to come here with the finality, and we look at these terms and say they are okay. Now, from a minority report and a majority report, there are agreement on some provisions of the term to concede that as we stand now, this loan cannot be approved because we cannot approve the terms that are still being negotiated. Right, Honourable Speaker. And that's a constitutional mandate. I've read the Constitution as is. Right, Honourable Speaker. The other argument being flying around that government is stuck, is that there is no money to do work. I believe, Right Honourable Speaker, this is blackmail of this Parliament. They have just spent under 3%, 1.4 trillion in supplementary expenditure. And the minister, where this is honest, where have they spent the money? 89 billion given to Sudil to build a marina. They've just given 127 billion to Atiak. They've just spent 800 of our money on defense expenditures. They've just spent part of that money, 135 billion on classified expenditure at the State House. So there is no scarcity of resources. There is wrong appropriation of the needs of the country. To say there is a crisis of liquidity in the country, they've just told us, URA has outperformed its target by 200 billion in this quarter. Then they leave the fundamental and come to Parliament and blackmail and stampede this Parliament. It is high time we stopped this blackmail by making a very short goes to an insurance. We all borrow money. We all pay insurance on our small loans. The loan fee is normally for insurance around between 1% and 2%. It can't be 10% of the loan. And Right Honourable Speaker, from my perspective, where I stand, this is a poor deal, wrongly negotiated. The firewall to stop this lies with this Parliament. We must raise the courage, the strength of character to speak true to power, including the executive, and tell them enough is enough.